we move on to this, changing topics. The mysterious death of American tourists in the Dominican Republic and the shooting of Red Sox legend David Ortiz, also known as Big Papi, are making some people very reluctant to travel there. As you may have heard, 6 Americans have died in the DR in the last year, including a Maryland couple and a Pennsylvania woman who died within days of each other at the same resort. Now, the FBI is helping local law enforcement with the investigation. So how do travelers protect themselves? That is the question everybody wants to know. Mark Ellwood is here. He's got some answers. He's a contributing editor at Condé Nast Traveler. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Normally, this is a very serious story. Normally, you're here with some lighthearted travel tips, but this is very serious.
Absolutely.
And people are afraid to go to the DR. And to that, you say what?
I say, look at what the government tells us. For the last couple of years, the State Department has run a travel advisory system where it will rate destinations 1 through 4, 4 being somewhere that you really shouldn't go. Mm-hmm. From the beginning, the DR has been rated 2. The most recent travel advisory, April 15th, still at a 2, just
still
saying...
2 is not a very good number.
2 is much better than 3 or 4, and the government is saying, the government is not telling us not to go. It is saying, go, but be cautious.
Right. So how do you vet a destination or a hotel for safety? Because this everything feels so random in these attacks.
And I think it is very worrying and very scary. The 2 things I would do. You've got Google Street View now.
Yeah.
I love checking out a destination on the ground from home. It's like your own sort of recce sortie mission. You can see the neighborhood before you book a hotel. If you have already booked a hotel and you want to know a bit more about the destination, social media gives you a live snapshot of what regular people are saying. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So you are getting a sense of whether people who are visiting are as worried as perhaps from a distance we feel they might be.
If you've already booked a trip and you're hearing all this news and thinking, you know what, I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah.
What are your options?
I understand, and I understand if people are nervous. The government's travel advisory means there's no requirement for companies to say, yes, you can cancel your trip. But remember, if you call your airline and you say, it's my first trip abroad with my 2 little kids, I'm really nervous, can you work with me? Human beings are much more understanding than the small print might suggest.
Hotels seem to be a little less understanding. They're the trouble spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone is human, and I think if you put your case very well, I'd also say there's a great service that I love called Close Circle. It's a new service. It's basically like a personal bodyguard. Mm-hmm. You can download that onto your phone. It tracks you. It sends you alerts of anything that's going on nearby. There's an SOS button, and it costs about the same as travel insurance. So if you want extra security, do that and travel.
Close Circle?
Close Circle. CLOSE Circle.
What's so troubling to me about what's happened in the DR? You're talking about, in case, I think, someone who drank a cocktail at a bar, another one, something came out of a mini bar.
Yep.
I mean, how do you protect yourself against anything like this?
I think that, as I say, I think social media is very helpful because I think you can get a sense of a place. Yeah. I think you want to keep your wits about you. That's why it's at a level 2. Yeah. It's telling you this is a destination where you should be a little on the alert. But I think extraordinary things can happen. It's been terrible. But
I've heard you say read the local newspaper. Why?
Well, see, I think one of the best, if you're nervous in a destination and you want to put a bit of a force field around yourself, buy a local newspaper and put it under your arm.
Oh, I see.
Because if you put it under your arm, people can see the local paper. Yeah. And even if you don't speak the local language, it suggests that you might, and therefore you're less vulnerable.
It's a form of camouflage, if you
will. That's exactly. Force
Mark
field.
Ellwood, thank you very much. Very good tip.